Good morning, everybody. Um, a very warm welcome. Can I please, Mehdi, can you please confirm if you can see my screen or slide? And am I audible? Loud enough?
You're audible, Vedika, and we can
Okay,
see your slide also. Please go ahead.
great. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you. So, good morning, everyone. A warm welcome to this webinar on modern work decoded by Microsoft and Embee. This is Vedika here, and I drive the digital sales at Embee. Uh, So COVID and the competitive marketplace has forced organizations to change their operational models and adopt a large number of modern work tools, right? But are we really optimizing them or are they really helping the organization? This webinar has industry experts from MB and Microsoft who will guide you on how to leverage these tools to plan, collaborate, and work seamlessly to achieve your business goals. With me, I have Mr. Randhir Dhawan, the Director Customer Success of Modern Workplace at Microsoft, Mr. Pawan Varma, Regional Business Head, MWP MB Software, and Mr. Mehdi Sai, Program Manager and Apps for Fast Track from MB. Before we continue, I'd really appreciate it if you guys, if all of you all can please share your name, your location, where you're based, the role you'll play in the organization, and what really are you expecting from the session. If you can just drop in your contact number, we'd love to get in touch with you just to understand more about how we can help you further. Great. Uh, Before we jump into the webinar, I'd like to take a couple of minutes to really introduce our organization. What or who is MB? So MB is a leading technology consultant, solution and services company driven to enable organizations and customers like you to transform your business with technology in a digital, mobile first, data driven world. We're 34 years old, one of the oldest in the industry, and the collective experience of our management remains unparalleled. We're growing fast and we're growing consistently at 25% in the last few years, and this is because we're constantly abreast with the changes in the technological landscape, and we help our customers on the same so that they can remain relevant in the market. Our support and service arm is highly acclaimed by our customers and partners alike, and something that truly sets us apart. The National Support Desk, the NSD, how we call it, is a service we offer our customers who can log in their IT support requests and have it addressed in real time under 30 minutes. A key reason to why or how our revenue is growing at 100%, service revenue growing at 100% annually. We have a strong national presence in 11 cities across the country, backed by a dedicated and highly committed workforce of 600 plus personnel. The team is skilled, trained, certified, and have deep expertise in leading technologies like cloud, data, apps. We have 50 plus certified pre-sales consultants and 150 certified technical experts. Our 24/7 managed services relieves you of concerning or stressing over your infrastructure setup. On premise or on cloud, our team of 60 plus um, certified managed services professionals have you covered and promise to deliver zero downtime as always. Two data points we as an organization are really proud of are completing over 1,000 on time, on budget projects over the last 3 years alone for some of our 2,000 customers who we cater to, and having an annual retention rate of over 90%. That's, I would say, one of the highest in the market. We share decades-long relationship with some of the market leaders like Tata Steel, FCB Olka, GEP, Pidilite, amongst others. Now, some of the recent acknowledgements that MB has received include Cloud Innovation Partner of the Year for Azure and MWP 2021 by Microsoft. We were the first runners up for Azure Hackathon in 2021, the Microsoft DevOps Finalist Award, Microsoft Country Partner Award, So yeah, these are some of just the recent ones that we've received and been recognized for. So the market is filled with technology partners, right? So how do you really differentiate and what value do we add? This is what how MB adds value and brings makes a difference to you as a technology partner. We help in transforming your IT with the technologies of tomorrow. We've always been ahead of the curve at implementing technology, cutting edge solutions at our customer places as well as at MB. So we're basically walking the talk. And this approach helps us to enable our customers to enhance their business agility and remain relevant in the market. Our solutions empower the workforce of today who have to either work remotely or in a digital workplace or are working across geographies, enabling them to collaborate seamlessly and securely, engage effortlessly to customers, employees, and other stakeholders to remain productive. When MD implements solutions at customer places, we are genuinely dedicated to ensuring that the customer receives a return on his investment. So we ensure that when the customer is transitioning to the cloud or adopting new technology, there's a series of training sessions, workshops, hand holding that's been done by our team of experts and account managers who ensure that the customer is adopting the technology optimally. Our solutions also enable organizations to reduce costs in the long run and are primarily strengthening the organization's foundation in today's global landscape. This is just a little bit about MB. These are a few of our customers who we've been working with for the last 10 plus years. GEP, MR, All Cargo, MG, Neil Kamal, Aegon Life, iCertis, all of them we're super proud of. Without much ado, I would like to hand it over to my team member Mehdi. If you can please take it forward from here. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Vedika. Hi everyone, this is Mehdi Sai from Embee Software. I look after a fast track program for Embee across the country. And this is a footprint we have on fast track journey. Embee is one of the prime fast track ready partners for Microsoft, and we have been working with Microsoft Fast Track for the last 3 years. And we have seen a lot of success with Fast Track together for Microsoft and also Embee and the customers that we onboard through Fast Track. And we have 300 plus successful customers who we have onboarded through Fast Track. We manage their adoption and maximize their return on investment spent on Office 365. We have 300 plus customers in various segments of EC, SMC, SMB in the market. With over 285K active entitlements across the country, we manage over and above 68% of active usage across various workloads in Exchange, SharePoint, Microsoft Teams meetings separately, and also Teams platform we manage that. And with more than 10 partners, 10 fast track ready partners, and be standing in the top two uh, in terms of enabling customers through fast track journey. Without much on the fast track journey, we will talk about the capabilities of the Microsoft Teams and the roadmap for Microsoft Teams in future. I'll hand it over to my counterpart from Microsoft, Mr. Randeep, to talk about the IT landscape.
Hey, thanks, Mehdi, and thank you everyone for joining us today for this webinar on modern workplace in the context of hybrid work. And as we all know that some of us are working from home, some of our organizations have started working from office, and others are working in a hybrid way. At Microsoft, we are studying this new way of working and how work is changing. And to do that, we are partnering with our partner ecosystem to know more who work across all industry domains. We are also learning from our daily conversation with customers like you. We are also seeing some telemetry-based uses from our apps for Microsoft 365, how people are using those apps on a daily basis. And we also learn that no person or organization in this time will have exact answers in terms of how this workplace or work environment is changing or is going to change. But I think just like you, we are also learning on the go. And that's where I'll share some of those recent studies which we have done with some of our employees. So recently, Microsoft has published this Work Trend Index 2021 annual report, and we have surveyed around 30,000 people across 31 countries in Microsoft. And survey results tells us that 73% of people want flexible remote options to stay even after a pandemic. And 67% say that they want more in-person work or collaboration post-pandemic. And if you see, this is a real hybrid work paradox, wherein a similar number of people or same set of people are saying that on one side they want flexible remote options to stay, but on the other side they want also more in-person collaboration post-pandemic. Now, looking at this kind of a hybrid paradox, we believe that to compete in this new hybrid world, leaders will have to embrace extreme flexibility in terms of working or enabling their people around when, where, and how they want to work in this hybrid work environment in future. Now, looking at all of these needs, there is work which needs to be done to rewrite certain operating models within the organization. And at Microsoft, we are again learning on a daily basis. I just want to give you the highlights from the new operating model which we are building across people, places, and processes to empower our employees. And I hope that by sharing this model with all of you, maybe it will be helpful to all of you in some way when you are also planning to create the new operating model to adjust with this hybrid work phenomenon. Moving on, so let's start with people. And at Microsoft, our employees around the globe, they have a flexibility and choice to work when, where, and how they want to work. And we have recently published a hybrid flexibility guide for all our employees, wherein they can choose a mix of work site, work location, and work hours, anything which is applicable to them with respect to how best they want to work in their environment, as well as how best they can provide the outcomes which are needed for that business to run, which they are supporting over there. So basis of business and employee needs, people can choose a mix of all three dimensions over there. And we believe every organization has a unique approach basis their need. We have also kind of published that guide as an open source so that in case some organization want to pick up some learnings from there, and they can also implement those changes over there. So as you know, these changes require a process to manage, and it's really a cultural change. And that's where we have enabled our managers to empower their team members as well as employees to make that shift. And that's where there are a couple of examples. Managers can take those decisions to kind of provide that flexibility. For an example, approving more than 50% of work from home or approving change of location. They have been also provided with a budget to allocate that budget towards employee need when they want to work from home, to buy certain office equipments which work best for them when they are working from home. Similarly, managers are encouraged to create those teams agreement in such a way that they can create more inclusive environment, in such a way that employee well-being is taken care when people are working in this hybrid work, as well as everybody feel inclusive. A simple example of having a team agreement is manager can come to an agreement with their team that there is no meeting happening on Friday or something like that, right? So these are some of our learnings which I'm sharing from a people standpoint perspective. Another thing is during this time, we also learned that people were feeling disconnected while they were working remotely from the organization mission and goal. And that's where during this time, we saw a need to digitally transform the employee experience. And that's where we introduced our Viva Cloud, which typically empowers our employees to bring best to their job. So basically, it helps them to make connections across organization as well as take care of their well-being and learning needs. So Viva has four modules: Viva Connection, Viva Insights, Viva Learning, and Viva Topics. So Viva Connection really helps them to sustain everyday connection between employees and the organization, which is their mission. And people can see really their personalized feed coming to them, their dashboard, which are of importance, important notification, as well as company news, etc. Similarly, Viva Insights really give them power to control how they spend their time or on a daily basis when they come to work, or whether working from home or office, as well as it give insights to their managers to take care of the well-being of their employees and take corrective actions. Learning is all about how we can empower people to spend their time, plan their time on their learning need, as well as we can provide them all their learning resources at one point rather than they need to keep switching between those interfaces to get their learning hours completed. And topic is all about arranging organization-wide knowledge with the power of AI, and then providing a very easy discoverability to the employees so that they can get that benefit of organization-wide knowledge, which is distributed across people and while people are working in a hybrid way. So moving on, and I'm sure all of you are using Microsoft Teams. We have also used it extensively and continue to use while we are working at Microsoft in hybrid way. All the Viva modules, which I had just discussed in the previous slide, are available to our employees into the same interface, which is Microsoft Teams, and that typically become a single interface window for all our employees to communicate, collaborate, as well as take care of their well-being and learning needs. Now, we have also seen some madness about meetings in the early stages of that pandemic when people shifted towards this work from home kind of environment. And now we have kind of empowered all our employees to get their work done wherever they are, whether they are working from office or from home, as well as working in different time zone. And that's where Teams provide a virtual workspace, which is a persistent chat-based communication, and where people keep on working on their projects or into their team environment by creating those teams and channels within Microsoft Teams. And meetings are just being used as a decision point. So all the work which needs to be done before that meeting to arrive that decision point is getting completed into those virtual workspaces being created in Teams. And that's where even after that meeting is done, and then those follow-ups are also being taken care in that virtual workspace, and then continuity of that communication is maintained so that if there is a next follow-up meeting, that starts exactly from where we have left that previous meeting. And that's where Teams is being used from meeting, chat, call, and collaboration need. We have also started using Teams as an automate layer, wherein we have started bringing our line of business apps inside Teams. So typical example, which personally I'm using on daily basis is I'm responsible for a business, so I need to stay up to date on that KPIs, how my business is performing. So all those dashboards which are relevant to my business are available to me directly inside Teams in the flow of my communication or in my discussion with my team members or with my leadership team. Similarly, I'm in my manager capacity. There are so many approval chains which I need to complete in that loop. And that's where rather than going to all those separate interfaces, those approvals, notifications are landing to me into this interface as a single environment. And that's where in that Teams interface, I'm able to get that notification, as well as I'm able to provide those approvals also into the same interface, and my backend are running on different databases. Moving on, that's where from a process standpoint perspective, there are many things which we have brought on Teams. Another thing from our meetings, which are back-to-back meetings, we have seen some bad impacts of those back-to-back meetings in this study, which got published last month. So on the left-hand side, if you see, this is the impact of anxiety and the stress on our brain in case all of us go into back-to-back meetings, which is usually the case in our hybrid work environment. But the study also shows that in case we take some frequent breaks in between of those meetings, so it helps reset our cognitive function, and we feel much more relaxed, and stress levels are quite reduced. So looking at this study, we have also introduced a new feature in Microsoft Outlook, wherein at organization layer, it can help introduce these small breaks, maybe before the meeting time or after the meeting time. That means maybe starting the meeting late, maybe 5 to 10 minutes, or maybe ending the meeting early, so that people can get time before the next meeting starts with them. And I encourage you to start leveraging this kind of feature for your organization as well. Now, as everybody during this pandemic phase, when this pandemic kind of subsidized, then people started bringing their employee back. And so was the case with Microsoft in this hybrid work. So we have created an app which helps our employee to come back safely to the office environment. So we have worked with our facilities teams and created this app. So by using this app enables employee to self-attest their health status. They can also book a workspace or a meeting space through this, and they receive a day pass, and the next day, in case they need to go to office again, so they follow the same process. So this way, we are able to bring our employee back safely to those work environment while meeting those needs of social distancing, etc. We have also learned a few other things while people brought their employees back. We had these learnings ourselves, as well as with some of our customers, where people rolled out Microsoft Teams during that peak of pandemic, and they really did not get time to optimize their office networks. And when employee came back to office, they were feeling those call quality issues, and that's where we work with network teams to suggest some of the best practices along with our partners like Embee in this case, which can really help customers to optimize their network routing in such a way that the kind of great experience which people are used to get while working from home, they continue to get the same experience when they are returning back to office. Similarly, we had learnings from the devices which people are using to connect to attend these kind of calls, whether it's an audio video call. These could be personal devices, or these could be room devices. So the learning which we had was, while people were working from home, they were fairly comfortable using Microsoft Teams as a platform for attending their meeting. But then when they returned back to office, they were looking for the same experience from those devices which were available into those rooms. Enabled for those video room kind of devices, right? And that's where to design those spaces which were like video rooms, we provided them with Microsoft Teams meeting room devices. And this is a small glimpse of some of those rooms enabled with those Microsoft Teams room devices, so that two experiences remain intact. One, the kind of experience which people had from a control perspective, the experience like hand raise and the way people are used to join those audio video meetings from the Teams desktop client, the same experience is maintained on these devices. And second, these devices are designed in such a way that people feel inclusive, even if they are joining that meeting from office, or they are joining from home, and every voice gets heard. And that's where, be it a large room, small room, or a huddle room, these Teams meeting room devices are really helping us to extend the same and inclusive experience which people are used to have on their desktop kind of environment. So the now same experience is extended further into these room kind of environment as well. Moving on, so I think all of you will agree that as at Microsoft and all our other customers during this pandemic, corporate network is suddenly without firm borders, because now people are working from home, people are working from office, so that boundary of that network, which is a corporate network, is really blurred. So at Microsoft, we are focusing on three areas. So in the office, as employees return back to work site, we move all the employees to the off corporate network boundary, so that we are taking that assume breach kind of a scenario, wherein the moment employee kind of connect their device to office network, they are not directly provided with all those corporate resources, but those checks and balances are made, so that once those device passes those check and balances, only then they are provided with those corporate access, even if they are directly working from office. Similarly, while people are working from home, we are asking all our employees to kind of test their home network and ensure it's secure. They are provided with kind of checklist, so that we kind of strengthen their work environment working from home as well. Lastly, while people are working from home or people are working from office, or device security is important. We have rolled out a company-wide Microsoft Defender, wherein all these devices needs to be enrolled first before they can kind of granted access to those company-wide resources. So these are some of those learnings which we had in our environment, and that's where I thought of sharing with you in today's context of this webinar. I believe maybe you can implement some of these learnings in your environment, and that's where we are. Thank you so much for your time today. In case there are any questions for me, please continue to type in the chat window, and I'll be happy to answer over there. And Kiran, I'll hand it over to Mehdi to take forward the discussion. Back to you, Mehdi.
Thanks, Sandeep. Thanks for summarizing it up and sharing the entire insights how Microsoft has been using or leveraging the hybrid work. I will now little deep dive into the details of it, of how and where Microsoft Teams can be leveraged as a meetings platform, or also as a platform to bring in the line of business applications, wherein we can look at increasing the productivity of end users and also empowering them with a lot of productivity tools that are already there. Uh, this slide talks about decoding the modern work with Microsoft Teams, how we can transform the workplace collaboration with Microsoft Teams, and how we can streamline the existing business processes, which we may have been doing day in, day out, but we don't have an automated way of achieving this. But the licenses starting from business, they come with the automation capabilities to automate many manual and repetitive tasks, which can be streamlined as a complete business process. And with the challenges that are being reported, and having overseen so much such challenges, Embee and Microsoft have come a long way to address the majority part of using Microsoft modern workplace solution. Here in this, we have a productivity solution, which is Microsoft Teams, which will help you connect with everyone in one single platform, and also while maintaining the high grade security with a lot of compliances in place. And the product capabilities, various product capabilities that we have with Microsoft Teams is what we are going to cover a little deep from the high level shared by Randeep. And moving on to meetings, we have seen the stats shared by Randir. We have seen taking a break between meetings is always a good idea to make ourselves feel better. And meetings have always been the cornerstone of teamwork, and people who are dependent on each other to achieve the shared goals inevitably gather to connect, align, and drive progress together with the meetings, right? There are a few statistics that have been taken off with the reports, which is from the research done by Microsoft, and there seems to be a lack of follow through after the meeting. We connect on a meeting and there is no follow through after that, and there is no context is being shared. Maybe it is shared on the email, but there is no context after we get into the meeting. So there are a number of distractions once we get into the meeting due to the other things that we work on, and there is also a kind of unpreparedness between attendees for attending the meeting even before they join. So the kind of thought process that is in place and the experience that we have seen and also learned from different customers across the globe, Microsoft had come up to bring in a meeting experience, wherein the meeting experience will consist of the pre-meeting experience and also during meeting experience and post-meeting experience. So covering it up, a meeting experience as a complete 360-degree angle with follow-throughs, following through after the meeting also. That's where customers choose Microsoft Teams, and because the reason being it has an effortless meeting experience and it is very efficient while at the remote work. And as the information shared by Randir in the previous slides, he also talked about the network disconnectivity once the users are back to office. So there are multiple best practices that we have implemented with other customers and seen a lot of success there, and we'll be able to help you in addressing those challenges if you're facing it once everyone is back to office. And above all, this has industry leading security controls and is compliant with all the security compliance that is needed regionally, and it is also GDPR compliant. Moving on to the next slide, talking about the effortless meeting experience. It is a high quality, reliable and video meeting platform, which is very easy to create. You can create a meeting from your Outlook and also your Microsoft Teams portal directly, and everything will be synced together across devices, across different logins, and it is flexible to attend a meeting from whichever the device that you are in. And efficient remote work with only fewer interfaces with a single hub. Teams extends to your LOB applications also if that supports REST API based calls. And any modern SaaS based applications that you may have, something like an asset management or an ITSM tool. If it is a SaaS based tool, you can integrate it one of the applications with Azure Active Directory, which will help you to sign in with a single sign-on capability, and also it gets integrated within Teams so that you can access those interfaces from Teams itself. And many SaaS-based tools out in the market are extending their APIs and creating a bots to connect to Teams so that all the work will get done from Teams itself, and it reduces a lot of data silos which are presented in different forms and different streams and different tabs. It brings in together which helps you simplify your search, and there are a lot of customizable workflows with the help of Power Automate. You can leverage a template which is already there or create a template from the scratch, so that makes it more easier. One of the use case that I would like to share is I am responsible to make sure all my customers have succeeded with the help with the Office 365 workloads that they are using. My job is to share a timely update so that they are aware that what is their current status and what is the ROI that is coming from the product. But for me to share it with all the 300 customers on a monthly basis, which takes a lot of time. It takes almost 12 hours of time if I have to do it manually. But what I've done is I have used Power Automate. I brought in this email template and created a flow which will trigger emails to all 300 customers in less than a minute. So kind of time saving that I'm doing for a month, I'll be able to focus on other work activities which are more important, and that will help me save a lot of time and also keep me productive. So that way, each and every end user can be enabled with a lot of various workflows that are already there, and also that will give them the spark to create a customizable workflow that they need. And it is always flexible to work in different styles and different modes. And as I said, I was talking about industry leading security controls, which prevents data loss and intentional, data loss, and other security controls which complies with the policies and local regulations of government, which ensures support for more than 90 plus compliance standards. Moving on to the next slide, I was talking about Microsoft Teams is the hub for teamwork of Microsoft 365 with meetings and callings with chat and collaboration. And I was talking about the apps and workflow, right? So there are the apps and workflow with the help of Power Apps and Power Automate. It brings in together the automation capabilities, and it's a fully customizable with the ability to create and integrate apps and workflows that your business relies on. With a powerful online meeting and chatting experience, you can do all these along with the same that you're already doing. Moving next, Microsoft Teams is the hub for teamwork, which brings in everything together, which we discussed in the previous slides as well, and it becomes a part of your Office 365 with manageability that we expect. Meetings and callings made simple. You can integrate Microsoft Teams with your existing meeting room devices, something like ThinkSmart, Logitech, or Polycom, with consistent experiences everywhere, irrespective of the device that you join in. And it is also intelligent and inclusive. We can experience this when you are on a live event or on a webinar, addressing a lot of lot of people. And when we enable a transcript within Microsoft Teams, it will capture who exactly is talking, and will capture that notes, and we can download that transcript also. And moving to understand the consistent experience everywhere in detail, on the go and at your desk, you can enable Microsoft Teams to share you a consistent experiences everywhere. And as I said, it is intelligent and inclusive, easy and secure to join. And meetings made more smarter with staying the flow before, during and after the meeting, which I was talking about in the initial slide itself. It saves a lot of time. It's a small all-in-one solution which we have, and it keeps everyone engaged with interactive experiences, and you can count on the enterprise grade security, quality, and privacy. So this is what I was talking about earlier. You can actually set a pre context to the meeting with the before meeting window, and during and after meeting windows as well. Before meeting, to ensure the meeting is productive, participants can actually prepare ahead of time by reviewing previous meeting content, and also the action items that they need to be collaborated on. Collaborating on documents and presentations, and getting more context on who will be attending this session is all about a pre-meeting experience. And during meeting experience, once the meeting begins, people can use a variety of features that help focus on attention, drive engagement, and foster inclusion. And if you look at the audio and video quality, it is very high comparatively the other apps in the market, with the live captions and translations in place. And after the meeting, all the meeting assets, including the recording, chat, notes, whiteboard, all will be saved in a persistent conversation that helps the team to continue the discussion and drive your work forward. Nothing gets lost in the track. And moving on, sharing and edit files in the real time with integrated Office 365 apps. you already have Word, Excel, PowerPoint, which can be integrated within Teams for your live collaboration. While you can collaborate on the document, you can also talk and converse with people who are online. It will help you meet your work wherever you are with the Office apps built-in co-authoring collaboration capabilities, which will help you to easily collaborate and share files stored in SharePoint and OneDrive. The great meeting experiences we have seen this advanced slide from Randeep. This is the same, and it helps you to take a photo and preview before you present that, and the photo is presented like a screen share and saved to the meeting chat. So that's where from the meeting and mobile and device experience, laptop experience, this meetings will help us with a lot of more capabilities from the mobile experience. If you can see, I can meet from a mobile device anywhere. I can share my PowerPoints screen or a live video, which will help the other participants to be more inclusive. And most online meetings have at least one remote attendee, right? And often remote attendees can feel left out, and especially when it comes to whiteboarding. But with the integration of Microsoft Whiteboard right into within the teams, real-time collaboration can become a part of every meeting for every attendee, irrespective of from where they join from. And moving on to the next slide, personalizing your space with custom backgrounds. This is one of the most intelligent feature that had brought in by Microsoft, with various preset galleries included, and you can also choose from any background from your desktop, which makes it more convenient for you to present yourself. It will help you remove your distractions from video calls in the areas that are not ideal. Currently, they are not predefined, and we can have custom background coming in. I'll quickly move into the next slide, meeting with confidence, which will help us in the intelligent era of cloud. The Microsoft Teams has across devices, and the Office 365 compliance, security, and manageability that comes into the picture. Troubleshooting, call quality, and actionable insights that we have today. And I'll quickly move on to the next slide. This will help us understand how we can easily add third-party apps for getting various works done. You can actually customize your channels by putting in most important files and also the applications for easy reference, and also the first party apps like Viva Insights, which Ranveer was talking about in the initial slide. There is a lot more capabilities and investments that Microsoft has been putting in on this Viva pillars, connections, topics, learning, and insights. This will give you more insights to talk about the various experiences that the user is having, how much burnout on the work that is happening for the day, and how managers can be more efficient in getting the work done for their reportees. And the way that it helps is to build a better culture, better productivity between the users, which gives a employee experience rather than not focusing completely on the customer experience. So that is one of the prime focus again from Microsoft and also from Embee. We inherit the same thoughts from Microsoft to enable customers and also to improve the experience both for the customers, end customers, and also employees of the organization. So that's where we have Power Platform coming in, including Power Apps and Power Automate, and including the analytics also. Together, everything within Microsoft Teams, which will give you a seamless experience having, using one single platform to all your needs. Microsoft Teams and Power Platform. Let us take a deep look at the overall vision for Microsoft and also for Embee how we help customers unlock communications, teamwork, and collaborations with employees and also end customers. And throughout our days, we transition from individual work to group-based work, and in doing so, we find ourselves moving from space to space, from individual spaces to collaborative spaces. And next, we need to consider what devices people might be using, and these vary depending on the spaces that people would like to work on. And other office devices, it can be a PC or a peripheral or an IP desk phone, which we have seen in the previous slides. In all the collaboration spaces, people will be using all-in-one devices, something like Surface Hub and other large-screen interactive displays with Windows collaboration displays, and also on-room systems like Microsoft Team Rooms. Uh, Moving on, building low-code applications with the help of Power Apps and Power Automate, which we talked about in the previous slides also. This will together help you build a lot of automation capabilities, bringing them into Microsoft Teams, kind of sending an automatic way of achieving something which you do on a manual basis, which will help you automate your routine tasks with Microsoft Power Automate. Uh, just a sec. So with that, I'll hand over this to my colleague, Mr. Pavan, to summarize the session accordingly. Over to you, Pavan.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mehdi, and thanks a lot, Ranveer, for all sharing all the insights on how Microsoft is developing and shaping up with all the security solutions, and how Microsoft is taking care of all the business productivity solutions, keeping security intact as a topmost priority. And thanks a lot, Mehdi, for highlighting all the advanced capabilities of Microsoft Teams. As we see, most of the companies are using Microsoft Teams just as a kind of communication platform, while comparing with this certain other point solution provider for the communication tool as such. But Microsoft Teams have really evolved a lot as a complete platform, a complete hub for communication and collaboration, wherein whatever the activities or the services or the applications we are using, rather, those can be tightly integrated with Microsoft Teams, so that for the user perspective, it will be becoming a single window for anything and everything what we are consuming as in software applications, whether we talk about the Microsoft applications or we talk about the non-Microsoft application. And also to add, as Mehdi highlighted in a few of the slides, we can have the custom application developed using the Power Automate and the Power Apps capabilities. Now coming on, adding to the Mehdi and Rajni, what they highlighted, we have seen and we are the witness of this pandemic situation. It's close to 2 years now, and most of you agree with me, the culture and the working environment for the organization has been completely changed. Right. The way the management was thinking, whether we talk about from the CIO perspective while deciding the technology roadmap, talking from the management point of view while deciding the strategy for the organization as a business roadmap, the way they were thinking earlier, now it has been completely changed. Most of the companies are still working completely from home. Few have really started a kind of hybrid environment wherein the 20, 30, 50% people are the employees are joining working from office when it's mandatorily or maybe the need of the hour for them to come and perform their jobs. But the rest of the employees are still working from home. So this is really moving towards a kind of hybrid working environment, which is something really a very new norm. We never thought of this kind of situation when everyone is coming to office, all of a sudden they are working from home, and now mixing both the environment, sometimes working from home and sometimes working from office, right? This really brings a lot of challenges to the management or the organization from the IT perspective and from the non-IT perspective as well. Considering all the facts, what are the things we require really to manage the IT infrastructure, which will really support this hybrid environment? And a lot of development has been done by Microsoft on this era to give you the seamless experience while people are working from home or they are coming back to office. They should not feel any kind of difference while what they are operating, what the applications or the services they are consuming. And on top of it, it should be in a very secured manner, because when we are coming to office, we have all the policies, all the configuration, all the security parameters enabled for them the moment they connect with the official environment. But when you are at home, you have the dependency with the multiple network, right? And now working in this hybrid scenario today, working from home as a common or maybe a public network I'm working operating with. Tomorrow I'll be going to office, so connecting with my official network, right? So the scenario or the background of the IT should enable and should also be able to, or rather I would say should be intelligent enough to identify whether the Mr. Pawan or someone else is working from home, working from office, and accordingly, all the policies, security parameters to be enabled, right? What kind of facilities I was getting in office, now at home, and coming back to office. This should remain seamless without impacting my business productivity or individual my user productivity also. Right. Moving next with the slide. So what are the things we really need, and who are the like what the culture we are progressing towards it? So it's none other than the kind of people only who are driving force behind this progress, right? So whether we talk about the reimagine, the teamwork, the culture, social capability, it has been completely changed. We can maybe take a pause, or you can just think back of the mind, like the way we were working as a team, as a culture, as a social a year and a half year back, and now the kind of the different scenario, right? Prioritize the individual well-being to help people focus and be their best. It's not only about thinking about my employees, but today the organization is really thinking about the family members, how the kind of situation they have gone through, and how best organization can really support them to prioritize their individual responsibilities and how well they can take care of them. Meanwhile, as we see, a lot of innovations has come, so it's really required or the need of the hour to keep that momentum on from the learning point of view as well, to enabling the user, the employees, the best of content for the learning perspective, not related to the role, but if in between the user really wanted to change the profile or kind of need some intelligent tool who can really read out what they are intent to, what they're planning to do, and really help them to shape up their career. Right? So that's where the Microsoft Viva and Microsoft Teams coming together, giving a lot of intelligence and stuff for the study, for the learning and development of the individuals, bringing all the insights you might have seen if you are on Microsoft platform and using Microsoft Teams, Exchange, or the various other platform. You must have seen the Viva Insight mails are coming in your inbox, right? Every week, and a monthly newsletter is coming in form of which really gives you the too much insight how well you are organized, how well you are managing your time schedule, how well the meetings are being organized, right? It gives a lot of intelligence and bring you all the capabilities by which you can really reshape your schedule and plan it accordingly. It also gives how much time you are spending with your colleagues, with your manager, within the inside the organization or outside the organization. So it really brings a lot of intelligence by which you can think and increase your individual user productivity. While a lot of automation and the processes are coming in, as Mehdi mentioned, giving a one real-time scenario, we are actually sending the consumption report of across the workloads on Microsoft to our various customers, which really was very time consuming because it's a completely manual job, right? But what kind of automation we brought in through the Microsoft Teams, now it just takes hardly less than a minute to send out all the customized mails. I'm not talking about just the kind of mail merge capabilities, because here we are talking about integrating 2 to 3 a different platform to send out these all intelligent information to our respective customers. Okay. Now, as I said, this pandemic situation in this 1.5 year really brings a lot of changes the way the management, the IT or non-IT management are really thinking. And they really wanted to have the best of the breed solution, whether we talk about the business productivity and we talk about all the security, managing your apps, managing your user identity and taking care of all the information protection and the governance in place. Right. Now, let me take a step back and give you a view of the kind of complete modern workplace journey. Here, I'm really not talking about the Microsoft as such, but you may spend a minute on reading out this slide, wherein I'm just trying to highlight the complete modern workplace and the framework and the journey, which starting from managing the identity of the user and taking care of all the information governance and the information protection part of it. Every single field here highlighted in the slide, you would agree to me, it's a need of the hour, and we really need all these services in my environment, whether it's Microsoft or non-Microsoft. As I said, I'm not just talking about the Microsoft here, but yes, these are the service or the capabilities. It's my requirement as on today to support this hybrid environment. The people are working from home or working from office. But I really need the kind of identity and access management solution, single sign-on functionality when the organization really working on multiple platforms. They have the different applications, and every software what we are using, it's coming up with a version of mobile versus a laptop as well. So every software, it's a kind of application, right? Having the conditional access, as I said, working or the supporting the hybrid environment, we really need such kind of solution, which really allows me to work or operate my day-to-day routine wherever I am, whether traveling at home or in office, taking care of all again the threat protection while connecting through the public network or the various remote places, interact with my device management with the all the security updates and all the policies which I really wanted to configure to support the device management as well as the app management. And moving next to the collaboration and the productivity side of it. So as a user perspective, I really need best of the solution which really help me as an individually to increase my productivity as well as to support me from increasing the business productivity for the organization. At the last, moving on the fourth point, the information protection and governance. This is really becoming very, very critical these days. Hence, a lot of other continents are coming up with their own kind of rules and regulation, the kind of policies, the certification requirement, wherein if any company is really working for European market or the US or some other continents, right? They have their own policies which should be governed if the companies really wanted to work in their geographic area. So this really takes care of all the solution whichever is required to protect my information and taking care of all the governance of the data what I'm sharing over the public network or the private network. Now, having these all solution in place, and the organizations might be using some of the point solution for addressing these all solution areas or related challenges, right? Let me also highlight here with the various industry leader here, which are supporting from identity and threat protection, device and app management, and the productivity and collaboration solution at the last again, information protection and governance. Right. So these are the few OEMs, or rather they are the point solution provider who there have their own capabilities to support these kind of environment or to support these specific functionalities. But it really become a painful journey for any organization when they think of so many OEMs in their environment, because the most importantly, the integration really become a critical, very critical issue when communicating between the multiple solution or rather the multiple point solution provider OEMs. Now, at the end of the things, I really think of, I wish there is any OEM which really support me to the maximum capabilities. There might be like Google or various other service providers, Citrix or Blue Coat or Okta. They might be having like 2, 3, or maybe 4, 5 solutions all put together out of these all journey. But any OEM or any solution provider who can really help me to cover this end-to-end modern workplace framework and the journey, right? So there, Microsoft is really coming up with a solution which really takes care of end-to-end solutions, starting from the managing the identity and the access management to the sharing any sensitive information over the public or the private network. So where in Microsoft 365, it's a kind of solution. It's not a product, it's a solution completely end-to-end, which is a kind of a very secure, intelligent, and a complete solution to empower your employees and to the organization. But how this Microsoft 365 design, what are the fundamentals to this? While I'm talking a lot about it's an end-to-end solution, intelligent solution provider for organization, covering every single aspect, what is required to cover all those parameters, right? So 365 is basically built on these four fundamental pillars, which really help the organization to unlock the creativity. While you have the best of the business productivity solution, all the insights are coming for the users, built for the teamwork. Whether I'm working within my team, Embee software, we can very much integrate with Microsoft as we have the federation services enabled with Microsoft, and we are talking to them over the teams like we are a one company, or the same thing which can be enabled to our respective customers as well. So you will not really find any difference whether I am talking or interacting with my internal colleagues or the outside the world. The solution is tightly designed for a complete teamwork. Integrated for the simplicity, as you know, like most of the organizations are really using Microsoft platform, and we are the witness how tightly they are integrated, whether I'm operating on Microsoft Teams, whether on SharePoint or Yammer or Outlook. I don't need to really switch the window, but wherever I am, whichever the application I'm using, I can really start the another application from that and there itself. And now Microsoft Teams is really bringing this capability also to get integration done or surface the non-Microsoft or the third-party application as well on Microsoft Teams platform. That's really bring a lot of simplicity for the users to operate with. And the last, but the most critical one, the intelligence security. Here, I'm not just talking about the security, but it's an intelligence security, wherein a lot of intelligence is Microsoft is really bringing for the organization. A lot of recommendations are coming basis on the current deployment they have. What are the best practices to be followed? Earlier, this used to be like a kind of solution consultant was required, detailed assessment is required, and a lot of activities were to be done when we really need or we really need to protect our environment for any kind of attacks or any kind of threats. But here, Microsoft really brings a lot of intelligence, which gives you the advanced notification how secure is your organization, how compliant your organization from the various governance point of view. So this brings a lot of recommendations which you can think of deploying the same. And if you have any different solution, you can make it as like accepted. Right? What are the challenges Microsoft is highlighting? It's not addressed by Microsoft because I have a different solutions to it that can be accommodated accordingly. But it really, end of the day, it really brings a lot of intelligence for the organization, for the IT managers, for the CTOs, where they can think of how is my organization is very secure and how really the other organizations in the similar industries are operating with. So this really brings end of my slide as well, while integrating the entire solution stack at one place. When Randy really talked about a lot from the business, the Microsoft roadmap perspective, giving all the confidence from the security side. Mary talked about a lot on the Microsoft Teams, how Microsoft Teams really can help the individuals or the organization to increase the user productivity and the business productivity. And here is a solution as Microsoft 365, which really brings everything together. And whatever is my need as an organization, whether I'm talking about maybe the 100 user organization or maybe a kind of a 10,000 user organization. But this really brings Microsoft 365 become a fundamental solution. There are different discussions can be made basis on the actual requirement of the scenarios. But Microsoft 365 is really becoming the brand or a kind of single solution which really takes care of all these four fundamentals to bring it together as unlock creativity, build for teamwork, integrated for simplicity, and bringing all the intelligence security for the organization to make my organization secure. With this, I really rest myself from the session. I think we are exactly on time. We kept a few minutes. If you have any queries related to the content covered by Randhir, Randhir is also with us still, and Mehdi is also with us. So if you have any queries, please reach out, or maybe you can just try to unmute, or maybe you can type on the chat window and we can get your address, or you can maybe drop your contact details. We can get in touch with you to have a much more detailed discussion around it. Mehdi and Randhir, if you want to add anything.
Well, that's all. I think if you have any queries, we can address one-on-one, or users can put it on the chat box.
Yeah. We can maybe pause for a minute. If anyone has any query, they can maybe type in on chat window and we can get it addressed. Or if you want another detailed session, we do have a lot of content and a lot of scenarios which can support what we have actually highlighted. A lot of business use case we can discuss based on your industry and the organization size. You can maybe drop your number. We can connect with you on one-on-one basis. Yeah, if there is no queries, then thank you so much everyone for joining here in the first as an activity of the morning time. Really appreciate your time and efforts joining the session. Okay, so I think there is no more queries. So we will get in touch with you, whoever is attendees from the customer side here, and we'll also share these details, what we have highlighted, the content covered by Randhir, Mehdi, and myself. We'll share these slides and we'll get in touch with you. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a really nice day ahead. Thank you so much. Be safe.